the displays, and there are caps of what they've been doing in the last year, and their promises of what they're going to do next year. You know that it's the voluntary organisations that make the town tick, who really make it thrive. Tonight is a chance for you to see what the town council has been doing, to comment on our report for the year, which will be presented shortly by the town clerk. Just so you know who it is who tonight. Most of our town council have got little badges on. I've got this big shiny thing. But they are here tonight as citizens of Sevenoaks, as are you all. And I am only here to chair the proceedings, not for any other purpose. So, first of all, I would like to move to the first item on the agenda, which is the minutes of the 2025 Sevenoaks Annual Town Public Meeting, which is with your papers on your chairs. So, from the chair, can I move the approval of the minutes of the 51st Annual Assembly of the Town of Sevenoaks on the 17th of March 2025? Any questions, first of all? But all those in favour? Any against? Good. Well, that's the first speaker to get out of the way. Now we can move on to the 52nd Annual Assembly of the Town of Sevenoaks. And the next item on the agenda is the presentation of the Town Council's annual report, which will be presented by the Chief Executive. Thank you very much.
Our copies of the annual report is quite a hefty document. There's a lot in there. So what we've done over the last 2 years is just give a summary of the activities that we do in addition to our day-to-day operations. So this was the year. And we start with April 25. April 25. And the town council provided a grant to the Bolts Club to install the solar panels, and we had a bigger market in April. In May, we had the climate affairs, second year, it's becoming more popular, and a very popular children's club event on the line. You can see how many people attended that. The opportunity to relax and do a theatre show related to us. We also had the 80th anniversary of being lighting an event on the line. We had a new mayor, Councillor Tony Clayton, and a new deputy mayor, Councillor Victoria Brandon. In June, we had the mayor's civic service and a summer festival, which the town council sponsored. We had launch of the master plan's public consultations, both for the Sevenoaks Town Centre and for St John's. We again, for B80, we had a Royal British Legion event at St Nicholas Church and the Sevenoaks Civics Show. As part of our town of sanctuary commitment, we hosted the Desperate Journeys for Sevenoaks Welcomes Refugees. In July 25, we were successful with 2 steel applications, community infrastructure levy. One for Greatness Play Area, we just had the tenders in for that to be installed in a couple of months, and the funds for the pedestrian crossing at Dartford Road. We also had our Green Flag Award for Vine Renewed, and we did our annual historic Vine Peppercorn Relic ceremony. With a new surface on the Vine Gardens, which makes it more accessible and has less maintenance, and a stateless event for the young people. In August 25, we did our family fun days in parks across the town and did our normal annual programme of music on the Vine. We also had a national blue judging and more children's theatre shows in the open air. We had a VJ day, flag raising ceremony, and we installed commemorative plaques around the town, and we launched a chatty cafe. In September 25 was a street food festival. You can see how busy it is there. And the town council sponsors the Sevenoaks Street Festival. In October 25, we started work building a new source pavilion at Greatness. And we also had the South and South East Pavilion Awards, where we had gold in all categories. In November 2025, Ilia's Kitchen moved into the Battle Station. We were also National British Food Award winners and Young Champions Awards. We had gold awards for everything, and we were the only town in the country to have 3 community champions, 2 of which were young people. So thank you to everyone who made this possible. We have Remembrance Day and Armistice Day, both of which Town Council arranged commemorations. The Sevenoaks Business Awards, and we have a new Youth Council. The Youth Council was supposed to be the Town Council. We had only 16 places. We had 80 young people apply to the Youth Councils. So we said, let them all do it. So it's a bit chaotic, but it's would be a shame not to engage with these young people when they want to be involved. With the Christmas lights switch on, as we do every year, always very busy events. We had the launch of our book about the story of Noel Park, and we were very, very pleased that Noel allowed us to use the Great Hall for that. We had a holly party, we had a children's Christmas light competition, and the mayor donated a painting to the town's collection, as we do every year. There's a new gazebo at Quakers Hall Lane allotments, and we had the best dressed window competition as well. In January, our first electric bus arrived. We were waiting for the licence so we could use it, hopefully it will come through soon. And we refurbished the car park at the Willies. We were awarded again the Investors in People for our staff, and we had the mayor's fundraising quiz for the city's 2 charities, SOYT and Supervised Tomorrow. We refurbished the Buckhurst play area, and we've installed solar panels at the Quakers Hall Lane allotments. March, only last Friday, we had the International Women's Day, which this room was full with business women and students. And a plug here for joining the Mayor's Charity Concert next week. Hopefully everybody's got the tickets, if not, it's not too late. And of course, we ask everyone to sign a petition for the stag this month that's been launched. We believe that the stag should be handed over to the people of the town by the town councillors and custodians. We're very concerned that the district council has been asking other town councils to pay for assets, and it seems I think a pro seems that shouldn't be the case. It's a public asset, it's owned by public people, and we believe that should be the case, regardless of which local authority is running it. We don't think public should pay for an asset. So please sign a petition, and we'll keep you up to date on that. And that's our year in a which is top of all the normal things we do, like burial people and let our halls and sports teaching and everything else. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Linda. Are there any questions or comments at this point? There are official questions later on, but if you've got any comments or questions about the what's in the report, because there's quite a lot more in the report than was in Linda's summary. Do shout. Thank you. Right. In that case, it's my great pleasure to invite Ellen Shaw to come and talk about the work of the Family Hub, which is one of our exhibitors here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I'm going to talk to you about the family hubs that we have in Kent. from the ones that we have in Sevenoaks, which would be more interested in. So in terms of family hubs, it's a national overview in terms, Kent Family Hubs launched in 2022. It's one of 75 pilots, trailblazers that the government picked, so we were quite fortunate. Some of you will know that Kent had children's centres and youth hubs, and in 2024 we launched Kent Family Hubs. So in Sevenoaks we have 2 family hubs, one in Swanley and one in Edenbridge. Part of our programme is that we engage with families from 0 to 19 up to 25%. So our journey so far, as I say, the national launch for Family Hub programme was in 2022, and the Kent we developed our website and the branding for the programme, so all of our pretty colours. And in 2024 we launched, and then in 2025 we launched our core offer. The core offer is key to what we deliver to our families, and this year we've launched our Family Hub network. So the core offer consists of 15 areas of delivery, ranging from infant feeding to perinatal mental health, child development, education for parents. So there's a whole range. Some of these are drop-in sessions, some are invite only, some are courses, and these all services ranging for 0 to 19, as I said before, up to 25. Areas continued. So we have support for young people with substance misuse, we signpost to debt and welfare services, and we run particular groups for our 11 to 19 core age group. So some of those are Compass, which is based on dialectical behaviour therapy. So we run those within schools as well as within our family hubs directly. They're small groups and run for 12 weeks. They're young people that have been identified that might need some extra support. So there's a range of things that's just not stay in place for 0 to 5. So there's a range of things for 11 to 19 as well. You can access our provision via district conversations or focus support. So anybody can have a district conversation with our team. And that could be that we signpost you to a range of services, our partners, not just across the borough. And it could be that we've decided actually one of our services fits the need that you're requiring. So we would then do a focus support, and that family would then engage with whatever it is we can offer. Our partners and the professionals can access our provision via focus support, so they can come in and ask for bespoke pieces of work that will be 6 sessions, and sometimes can last a little bit longer if needed, but we can tailor it to those young people, children or families. It looks quite busy on that. Sorry. So one of our other elements of work that we deliver is our contextual safeguarding. This is really key to engaging with young people in places and spaces and locations across the district. So we may have young people in a particular place, and our job in that meeting with a range of professionals is to look at what we can do to make that place safer. So it could be that it needs more street lights or it needs CCTV. So we work with our partners across the meeting to engage with those changes to make sure that young people are safe in those environments. Those meetings happen monthly, and we have professionals at the beginning, and then sometimes at the end we invite non-traditional partners. So we work with Asda or Greggs in our community to engage with those young people that might be frequenting those places, but not always for the positive reasons. So we ensure that we give them an opportunity to engage with us, and they tell us what they need, and the young people also share their thoughts. Too many things in my hands. So we have a digital offer, so you can access any of our information via our digital platforms, including our social media. We engage with families not just in person but online as well. It's really important we keep that line of communication open. The other key element of family hubs is that because we we can't do everything as much as we'd like to. It's impossible. So what we do is we engage with the community. We have volunteers. We get young people to be part of our mentoring program. So we have different elements that we engage with. So we have speak out parents and speak out young people, where they come and talk and engage and put back into and develop ideas so that we can develop our own program that suits those young people that share in that, and also our parents who come and give us their opinions and their ideas so we can move our program forward. It's really important that we listen to the people we work with. It's their service, so we need to make sure that we're absolutely there leading from the front. So the Family Hub Network was launched this year, and this is about engaging with a range of volunteer services across the district of Sevenoaks, where they can sign up to become part of the network, where there's some checks and balances done to make sure that when we're signposting our families, children or young people to different services, we know that that service is okay. They've signed up to our network and we can say, yeah, we can access that. There's no issues. So the network can offer a range of things in terms of opportunities for training, engagement, opportunities to co-deliver in Family Hub spaces. So we have 2 spaces in Sevenoaks, one in Swanley, one in Edenbridge. So you could definitely want to run one of your programmes out of our building. And that's really important, that we open our doors to a range of services so that it's not just our service in that building, it's a range of services. Our buildings are open from 8:30 to 4:30, but we'll stay open till 9 for young people of an evening if required. So they're handy venues to have. There are a range of criteria that you need to join up to the network. I won't go through this list. I think this is going to be shared anyway. So, and then that's how you can access any of our information. So any of those QR codes, you can get the requirement for the network if you want to sign up, or if you know somebody who would benefit from the network, please tell them and they'll share their QR code. It's a whistle-stop tour of Family Hubs.
Thank you very much. Yes.
I was wondering what services are being provided in Sevenoaks Town. Yes, okay, so you're probably aware there used to be a children's centre at Spring House, and that's not there anymore. So after Easter, what our plan is to do is satellite programmes. So we'll be offering our programme within some venues around the town centre. So that will be coming after Easter. They stay and play. There'll be campus courts, teenagers. So anything that's on our programme already will be very good for tonight. We've got loads of staff, so you have to kind of plan it in and make sure that you cover everything that you can do.
If you have a building, where is it?
I've got 2 buildings, one in Edenbridge and one in Swanley.
No, but I think that, how will you be publicising what you're going to be doing in Sevenoaks? Because that's quite an important
We will,
issue.
social media,
Right.
we will put it out through social media, and I can share wider if I need to,
Yes.
so that's not.
Yeah. That's as well.
Yeah, of course,
Fantastic.
absolutely.
Yes. Fair enough.
How are people going to be able to access your services? Because the distances to Edenbridge or to Swanley, if you're a person challenged with child rearing in Sevenoaks, is a long way, and there is very little public transport.
Yeah, we're fully aware of that, and not everybody can access one in Edenbridge because of the distance between the 2, and that's part of the reason why we're looking to do our satellite programmes within the Sevenoaks town to ensure that we cover those distances.
Still very difficult for people to access what they need when they have usually fairly low income.
And that's part of the network, why we've launched the network, is so that, because we can't do it all, there's not enough of us. But if we engage with that wider community in terms of different voluntary organisations and different groups, then we have them in various places to work with those communities that need them the most.
quite a challenge for you.
Yeah, it is a huge challenge, but we'll make it work somehow. I'm always positive about these things.
Any other questions? Just worth pointing out, the place in Swanley is right next door to Swanley Station, so it is accessible by train, which isn't as eligible to reach. But no, you're right, it's an issue. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Right, now this is the best bit of the evening. It's where I get to dish out checks for all the people who applied to us for grants for voluntary organisations. And there's quite a long list. I hope they're in the same order.
Yes.
They are. Okay. So first of all, if you'd like to come up, take your check, and then go back and sit in your seat. And then we're going to have a presentation from Stag. And then we'd like, if you're happy, to have a photo of everybody who got a check at the end.
We'll do each one as well.
Yeah, we'll do each one as well, so anyway. So, the first one is for Art in June, who we got a grant of £500 towards the costs of administering and promoting the event, including the introduction of that. So, Art in June. And the second one is Baby Umbrella, who received a grant of £19 for support on lactation consultants and breastfeeding. And the third is Domestic Abuse Volunteer Support Services for the cost of specialist domestic abuse, including early intervention and recovery.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And the next one is Divine Singers. For £30 for funding 10 weekly workshops with creative health specialists. You want to come up to the next one? And next, the Friends of Rheinbach for contribution to expenditure on promotional and development activities. And the hygiene bank, £2,000 for purchasing hygiene projects and delivery costs and a storage unit.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Have a quick photo.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. And £500 for the Kent Youth Jazz Orchestra for the Youth Jazz Workshop at the York Concert. And next, the Recovery and Wellbeing College, £810, free room hire at Battenball Station for the session. And the Sevenoaks 3 Arts Festival, £600 for the hire of venue and the performance practice spaces. And the Sevenoaks Volunteer Transport Group. So, £1,000 for elderly and disabled people with affordable transport. And Southeast Open Studios being proud for design and production of the Sevenoaks Artist Training Map. Sevenoaks takes 30 minutes to do this. And we are beams, £1,500 for hire of houses space for public bicycles. This is Thank you, thank you. And finally, West Kent Mediation. £900 for volunteer training, supervision, and publicity. So thank you very much to all those who have submitted applications. The majority of people who submit applications do actually get some money from us. And we know how important all the work that you do is to make it the best place to live, which is it's what the estate agent says, isn't it? I just hope the people who actually live here feel the same, but that's why I'm here. Right, thank you very much indeed. The next thing on our agenda is the Stag Community Arts Centre presentation. As you will know, the Stag Community Arts Centre is a charity whose trustees are all town councillors. But the lease of the Stag is from the district council to the town council, and then the town council sublets it to the charity. And as Linda said earlier in the evening, we have, I think it's 9 years left on the lease, something like that, of a 25-year lease, which Andrew has been running for the last, well, 17 years, I guess, is it? Something like that. Gosh, does it seem that long? Yes. Yes. Well, at least he's got more head than I've got left. And the trustees have run the Stag successfully and without a substantial subsidy. And apart from the need to do crowdfunding during COVID, it's been run largely without public support, which is quite an achievement if you think of what's going on elsewhere in the country with theatres closing and difficulty. And I think the concern of both the council and the trustees, whose chairman Nigel was sitting here in the front row, is that if we want another 25 successful years of Stag, we will have to do things slightly differently. We will have to make it a more attractive place for performers to come, and we'll have to make it a more profitable place for performers to use, which means you need to increase its capacity. And you'll see the ideas at the back there for doing that. And to make those changes will require substantial investment. And to do that, we really think that we need to own the building. If the freehold remains with the district council, it will transfer to a much bigger authority covering the whole of West Kent, including Maidstone, which has a theatre, Tunbridge, which has a theatre, Tunbridge Wells, which has an assembly hall, all of which I think drain more money out of their coffers than Sevenoaks Stag does out of ours. But the incentive to invest really depends on demand and the community will here in Sevenoaks, which is why we think the control should pass to the people of Sevenoaks. That's why we're running, or why Nigel is running a petition on behalf of the charity, which we are supported for the town events. That gives you a bit of a background of where we come from. But Tony is going to give us the lowdown on how Stag is doing. Why it's doing so successful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And the lights dim in a very theatrical way, sorry appropriate. Apparently I made my presentation too dark and I got told off by the technical team. So yes, my name is Tony McEwen, I'm the Deputy Chief Executive at the Stag. And here is our annual update. So this year we have not pressed the buttons correctly, okay, we have to figure this like instead. So this year we have continued our normal charitable aims of providing a venue for people to come in, and that is through our 450-seat main auditorium, through our 300 standing function room and our 2 small cinemas. We also welcome many non-performance events each year, all for the people of Sevenoaks and surrounding areas. Next slide, please. And again, I was going to be very dramatic and click through all those little slides. You'll see they crop up here now. So, as Mr. Mayor was saying, we are very thankful to Sevenoaks Town Council for all of their support, with which we could not continue.
It's working.
It worked, yeah, correct. So we do receive one operational grant of £27,000, which comes from SCT. This year, that was the only grant that we received, and happily, we were also able to reinvest £12,000 of retained profits, which allowed us to refurbish the awning at the front of the building. We also undertook some smaller capital projects. For example, we put new trapdoors in the stage to better facilitate wiring for incoming touring companies. We also made some improvements into the cinema, as much as we had some new tills, a new bean to cup coffee machine, caffeinated and decaffeinated, in case you're worried about it. And we also had a new sound processor, which allows us to better facilitate alternative content, which is anything that doesn't come under the umbrella of general cinema. So these are our top 10 films for this year. 5 of them are the same as the national top 10. The other 5 are slightly more Sevenoaks streaming films, The Salt Path, The Call, for example. I actually only got a chance to see one of these films, and that was the Minecraft movie. And it's not even because I'm a parent. I had to go and watch it because of this. Does anyone remember that from national media? It was. It made the news. It was eruptions across all cinemas internationally, with people shouting about this little brain fella. It was most awkward, but luckily Sevenoaks didn't go the brunt of that. So I've spoken in previous years about the effect of streaming services as video on demand. It does continue to be a thorn in the side of the theatre, of the cinema industry in general. But people are coming back because they realise increasingly that going to the cinema, much like going to the theatre, is a social event. It's the laugh together, cry together theory. I'm happy to say that our occupancy rate, broadly speaking, is a match for the national average. So that's sort of people coming back into the cinema, back into the building, back into the town. So a little bit of a statistic from the UK Cinema Association's recent polls says that 60% of the adult UK population has been to see a film in a proper cinema in the last 12 months. But more importantly for us, and because of the Stag's sexual relationship with Sevenoaks, 43% of people who come to the cinema aren't just doing it as a single event. They're going out and they're having a meal. They're going out and they're having a shopping trip to go with it. So if we apply that metric to our sales figures, that means that this year the Stag brought in about 13,000 meals or shopping trips into the town centre, which is pretty special in and of itself. So it's not just the big first-run blockbusters, there's also the alternative content. These are our top 5 of those. We run that under the umbrella of what we call Stag Select. Stag Select is anything that isn't a normal blockbuster main-run film. For us, that's sponsored by Manac Solicitors, who have been long-standing and supporters of the Stag, and we thank them greatly. Alongside all of those, we also like to do things that aren't necessarily commercial, and for a long time we have been part of something called the Interfilm Festival. The Interfilm Festival is run by the UK cinema industry, and it's designed to bring children into cinema, in some cases to see their first ever film, for either entertainment or educational purposes. You'll note that these all fall under the entertainment bracket. So we've had over 500 events this year across all of the hireable spaces in the building. Anything that you can imagine: youth theatre, full-on shows, musicals, touring bands, stand-up music, stand-up comedy, all of the above. Here is our youth theatre. You may or may not have seen that they are currently making a film. You can see snippets of this film on the TV over here. I'm not allowed to talk about it much, but I'm sure that Simon Cousins, who is here, everybody wave for Simon, there he is. So Simon and his 2 representatives from SYT will be happy to talk about it. They're currently making their first feature film. Some snippets from their ventures this year. I'm not sure what I can say about the fish one. So SYT aren't the only youth programming that we have. We also have many dance schools and dance shows which come to us. The Stag is very popular with them because of the depth and the breadth of our stage. And aside from the performance stuff, we've also got a lot of involvement with local community groups. So here's images from just 3. We're currently playing host to Ted from West Kent Mind. Have we got anyone from West Kent Mind today? Yes, hello, West Kent Mind. So they've left a Teddy with us. He's got a barcode on his back. If anyone happens to be passing by the Stag, you can scan his back and leave your mental health tips for them. They come in, we have Imajo and Baby Broadway, so many different groups that come and use the Stag on a regular and semi-regular basis, some of whom are represented here tonight. We have huge numbers of family and panto productions here. Some of these are represented here. I'll give you a chance. Can anyone spot the non-family events? Yeah, there's that one. It's definitely not a family event, but they are just as popular as the normal family event. Just slightly more adult. Last year I spoke about the Great Divide. It was quite popular. People like to hear about it. This year I've decided to continue the trend to talk about the difference between our community hirers and our commercial hirers, because it is very relevant, especially to some of them. Our community hirers did really well this year. We've had multiple settlements that were way in excess of £10,000 after a single day's event. However, that being the case, they still only represent 25% of our hires, so a quarter of the people that come to the Stag are community hires, but only 3% of our income. The other 75% of the hirers, bring in 97%. So the takeaway from that, of course, is that the commercial hires subsidise our efforts to keep the building open for the community. It brings people in still, so all of those disparate hires will contribute towards the town centre and the car park and the restaurants. As an update on the solar panel project, it's now been in for 3 years and we've generated more than 147,000 kilowatt hours. We've managed to put 14,000 kilowatts back into the national grid. And this year, almost 22% of our power usage came specifically from our own solar panels. So thank you back again for our self-funding for that one. We did not choose this young lady, I would like to point out, licensed to be honest. So our solar panels represent about 2,300 trees. And this year, a lovely young lady named Sunny Hall was kind enough to come along to Britain's and plant a commemorative tree in our behalf. And what she was explaining for that. It doesn't operate in a vacuum, of course. We have partners for our ecological efforts, some of which are pictured here. If you would like to support the staff directly, there are many ways for you to do so. You can do so when booking tickets through our website. You can do so through the box office, either in person or on the telephone. You can even do so by request, by contacting the chief executive. If you would like to help us but spread the help, you could also consider this. You get to help the stag and the mayor's concert and the two charities that he has selected, SAYT and the Citizens Advice. If you would like to help us more definitively, see, I feel like I'm just saying all of the things you already said, but it bears repeating, yes? If you would like to help us more definitively, please feel free to go and sign the petition. It is very important, and I'd like to throw my hat in the ring along with Linda and the Mayor to say how much we believe that the stag should be kept in local hands. So yes, 364 days of continued stag existence, just to keep that space open at the OS. And do you have any questions? Stands, looks like a good sign, but back to boss. There we go, sir.
Thank you very much, Jenny. That's much appreciated. And I think we would like, well, I think the trustees would like to be able to present to Sevenoaks District Council the largest petition they have ever seen. We're getting there. The petition's been out for about 5 days, I think, so far. And we're getting there. But if you know people who value the stag, as we do, and as the people in the town do, please pass it on to them and get them to sign. Because what will convince them is the number of people who back the idea that this community asset, and it is designated a community asset, should belong to the community and not to somebody, to a council miles away, over whose actions and future attitudes to the arts we will have very little control over. So please do support the petition. And if you'd like to buy a ticket for my concert, that'd be wonderful. By buying a ticket for my concert, you will be making a contribution to the stag through the ticket buying fee. And also, if you buy some popcorn, we'll be making a really big contribution. You'll be amazed how much money the stag makes out of its popcorn. So, thank you very much. Next on the agenda is to receive comments and queries from local people on matters relating to Sevenoaks Town. And we have one question which has been sent in advance, from Chris Hanson. Is Chris Hanson with us tonight? No. Okay, well, I will read out his question. Okay. He says, our beautiful town is decaying slowly, and the sense of community is fading. At the same time, I see people mobilizing in small groups or independently to care for and tidy their locale. Can we find a way to promote unity in the community by starting to mobilize more people to help out, perhaps with an incentive structure? We could start at the station and radiate out, clearing the verges and car parks or littering weeds, as well as auditing potholes, water leaks and broken street furniture. Big time. I'm not asking for the council to do more, as I know you have limited resources. I'm asking for the council to try and help organise the willing, which I believe to be many, and help bring a sense of unity to our community that after a reset, hopefully we can all grow from. I believe that the community will also bring their resources, be they labour, capital or otherwise, to create a multiplier. So that's the question. So, I think I would respond in the following way. When the town's vegetation and weeds and public realm has been mainly addressed in the past by Kent County Council, who own the roads, and the Sevenoaks District Council, who own quite a lot of the town centre. And as their resources diminish, the town council has been trying to address this through the Darrett Valley Community Rail Partnership, which does volunteer gardening at the station. I was admiring this afternoon the piece of land next to the railway bicycle flats, which is gardened by a group of volunteers in exactly the way Mr. Hanson suggests. Sevenoaks in Blue, which mobilises really quite a large group of volunteer gardening experts doing weed killing and involving local businesses. And as I think Linda made clear in the report earlier on, we won the national prize for mobilising community volunteers in support of Brooklyn Blue. That was what we got our prize for. And we will be supporting the Great British Spring Clean on Friday the 27th of March at the sand pits at Pontoise Close in the morning, and in the afternoon at Millpond Wood, just clearing up bits of land which belong to the town council. And all of those will welcome volunteers if you'd like to come and join us. I know Millpond Wood does tend to accumulate quite a lot of stuff. So, well, I think we are doing some of what Mr. Hanson suggests. We don't have any money to provide incentives, I'm afraid, but we can't pay anybody to come and clear up the rubbish. But in addition to that, the town council and the town team, the partnership between the councils, town, district and county, residents associations, which I've several here tonight, and other volunteer groups and organisations in the town. And that meets every 6 weeks or so to organise things like repainting streetlights, bollards and railings, and organising the sorts of events in the town which generate community spirit, like the events on the Vine. From the next financial year, we have budgeted, so it's in your council tax, to employ a new grounds person who will dedicate specific time to addressing vegetation in the town. Well, that's our contribution to this. But also, I mean, I think most people know that Kent County Council has an online system to report problems with potholes and other problems with street surfaces. And they do work, actually. I've tried them, and they do actually work. So do use them. And if you've got a particular problem, come and talk to us. Come and talk to the town council, and we can pass on the complaints that need to be passed on. So I think our response to the query is yes, we will mobilise volunteers where we can, but we also need take. But to get the people who actually own the bits of space to take responsibility too. I hope that answers the question. Are there any other questions people would like to ask tonight? Yes. Yes. Would you like to say who you are? Sorry?
You need to lie.
I am
Sorry?
I'm a youth in the credit package.
Okay.
I want to ask what the town council is planning to do for the youth in this year.
The youth. I'll ask Linda to answer that. Please.
Well, it depends on the age group, different age groups. So for the youngers, we have the obviously play areas and that kind of provision, and we're installing a new £250,000 play area at Greatness in the coming months. And we do outdoor events which are freely available to attend, like outdoor theatre, skateless events, etc. And as I mentioned, we now have a new youth council. There's 80 young people who meet in this room every 6 weeks, and they're putting forward ideas of what they want to take place for young people. Obviously, we run the youth cafe as well, and we've just done a social value report on our youth provision, which far exceeds any other town in the district. Way beyond what other towns do. Doesn't mean we should be complacent. There's a lot more we can do. And we're willing to listen, especially to the young people who put themselves forward to voluntarily try and work for us. But happy to hear any suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll just follow it up by saying that this year's youth council is exceptionally large and exceptionally vocal, I think. And over the last few years, we have taken the recommendation of the youth council to justify some priorities the town council has set in deciding what to support. So, for example, last year's youth council did an exceptionally good report on mental health for young people. And we have taken that as a part of our sort of input to the things that we will spend money on and support in the years going forward. So it depends on, not on us deciding what's good for young people, but on the young people partly telling us what they want. So, was there somebody? Yes. Just a quick for them.
Thank you. My name is Andrew Rain. Two questions. Can I ask two questions? The first one is, well done on getting that zebra crossing done by the line there. But is it correct that that costs £100,000?
Yes. Why is the question? Why?
Cost so much.
We were originally quoted £25,000, and we were going to pay for it all, because we had money left over after the 20 miles an hour installation. After having second thoughts, Kent County Council, I mean, basically, you can look at the numbers up in detail in the council reports, but essentially, Kent County Council sort of doubled the number, decided that zebra crossings don't cost £25,000, they cost £50,000 because of all the lights and special services. And in this particular case, they had to lower the pavement on the side of the line to avoid people tripping up or falling off the pavement. And that was not cheap. That actually put quite a bit of extra cost into it. And the district council weighed in and reminded us that the tree roots are protected because the trees are in a conservation area, and so the tree roots have to be specially looked after while they lower the pavement. And those added, I think one or two other things, those added quite a bit to the cost. Fortunately, most of the extra costs came out of Kent County Council, and they did actually support us quite substantially. And our contribution was the 25,000 plus a bit of additional community infrastructure. So it didn't actually cost the townspeople of Sevenoaks £1,000. Fortunately.
But then my second question,
Sorry?
my second.
Yeah, some of it came out of the community infrastructure levy, which is the levy that is on development in the town. Yeah.
Well, I just wonder what the interest of town council takes in a retail mix in town, in Sevenoaks town itself. I mean, everyone's very aware of the proliferation of, barber shops, nail bars, convenience stores, which often don't seem to be operated to the kind of normal retail standards and their equivalents, in other parts of the country. And I wonder whether there's any concern about whether this will go on proliferating.
Good question. I, as well as being mayor at the moment, I also chair the town team, which is the partnership of businesses and councils and residents. And we meet to talk about how the town is getting on. And I share the concern you have about some of these enterprises. Some of which, I mean, there's been some national publicity about retail operations which are not actually legal retail operations, but which are effectively money laundering operations or purveyors of illegal goods. We have, as a town council, have absolutely no powers to investigate them. I suspect the district council could take a closer interest. The training standards are really the people, I think, who, and the police, the people who would need to take an interest in whether or not these operations are legal and whether their employees are legal, which is the other, or whether they're being exploited. And I suspect in some cases they are. But as a town council, we have practically no power to do that. We can point to it, I think, and try and get other people to take an interest in it. Our main interest is in keeping Sevenoaks through the town, in the town team, is keeping Sevenoaks going as a successful retail centre. And we know that I'm very glad to see Mountain Warehouse last weekend. I think that they're going to be quite a useful draw for the town. But you know, keeping the retail mix strong enough to bring people into town is quite a challenge. We met the new owners of Blythe about 4 weeks ago, and we're meeting them again tomorrow, and they seem very positive about the prospects for the town. And they obviously know an awful lot more about running retail centres and retail mixes than we do. But they are very keen to support the retail mix in the rest of the town so that Blythe will be a success. And 30 years ago, I was chair of the committee which designed Blythe and prepared essentially the recruiters and the developer. And we built Blythe not to make money for the district council and the district council development. We built it not to make money for the district council, but to support the retail strength of the town as a whole and make the whole town work. And the new owners of Blythe take the same view. I think that's going to be quite a big strength.
Who are the new owners?
They're French. It's a French family company. Yes. And they have recruited as their managing
The
agent.
shops are there now, they're safe.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, this, like, new food, then the shops there are safe.
Yeah. They are very keen to get the Laura Ashford site relet. And just trying to work out whether to recombine it with the thing that Alice had, which is.
That's a fantastic shop, I mean, you see that first of all.
Yeah, they understand all that. And they will market it properly. And they will have somebody on site in the town 2 days a week, which the previous managing agents did not. Okay.
No, that's maybe reassuring, because sometimes a new owner has some ideas and the shops suffer as a consequence. But
Right, and they have taken on. They bought the site because they think it's fundamentally viable, yes.
Oh, that's reassuring.
It is, well, that's exactly what we thought. And we now need to work out a plan to work together with
Yeah,
them.
small businesses need all the help they can get.
Yeah.
Small
Well, to be fair, most of the businesses in Blyth are not small businesses. They are mainly multiples, mainly national chain. Very. But, yes, Helen. Yeah.
May I just add a couple of things?
Yeah.
In addition to what you just said. So it's worth commenting for anybody who doesn't know that we have a gentleman called Mike Reed who works for town council whose role is very much about the town centre, working with the businesses in the town centre to make it the best place it can possibly be. That again doesn't allow us to influence who chooses to rent or buy any particular shop unit. Simply isn't that control, as Tony says. But we do have active work going on all the time, day in, day out, to be working with the town centre, traders, retailers, service industry. And Linda will know this number better than me, but our occupancy rates in the town centre is a lot higher than other similar towns, similar sized towns across the country. I think it's 80.
No, it's 95%.
95%.
There's only about 5% vacancies in Sevenoaks
But the rates are very high, aren't they?
central business area. Business rates are not spectacular. It's the rents that are high, not the rates. The rents are high.
Rent, yeah.
But the new rating valuations that we're just looking at now looks as if the rating valuations in the town centre have gone up. But in the peripheral shopping areas, like Hollybush, John said, actually, some of them have actually gone down. So we do keep an eye on this stuff. Helen. Oh,
On the every level, sort out, so you don't want to ask about the use of sediment. Sevenoaks Town Council actually owns the picture of the rugby club and also the football club. You know, they're building up a stadium there. Now, the football club and the rugby club themselves have a children Sunday over 2,000 young from the age of 5 to 18. In fact, our double Olympic skeleton champion, that people know, in fact, played all his rugby at Sevenoaks. And begins and then played for the first row, or first 15, sorry, I'm sorry, not first 15, for about 3 years. So, the town council actually helped sport in this area. And this area of sport is one of the best in the whole country when you talk about how the youngsters are trained. You won't get much better. So, whatever town council wants to say they won the club, and they are responsible for making sure the club got the So, if you're play sport with any child from 5 to 18, you've got it all here.
Helen Bowles,
can you,
change of problems, whatever, okay.
are you on?
I just wanted to know, in the minutes of the meeting last year, concerns expressed about the closure of, or consequences of the closure of the adult education system in Bradbourne.
Oh, yes.
Bradbourne Road. And I wanted to say, please, and then thank you to the town council for making it possible for some at least of the adult education to continue using the town council premises. And hopefully that's a win-win situation for both sides, benefiting both the adult education and the town council. I think big thanks to the town council for taking that.
Thank you very much, Helen. I just wish we had more capacity.
Yes, well, that as well.
Yeah.
That's what you think that town centre.
John.
I'm John. I think you may recall that over an extended period, 2 or 3 years back, Southern Gas Networks had a number of BT manuals out of the area. Although no actual work was being done there for just over 2 years now. We still have on St John's Hill, opposite, more or less opposite Glenford Lane, 2 BT manifolds where they've still got the temporary yellow Southern gas networks, covers on because the manifolds have otherwise been left open. Is it possible to lean on the Southern gas networks and or BT to get those manifolds properly covered over and properly reinstated? Being going on far too long now.
Your county councillor, who is sitting directly behind you, says, thank you very much for raising this, and he will be on it. This is a highways issue, and it's a responsibility to get the county council to chase these people. I mean, the problem is these people have the power to dig up the road, basically without any controls. But if the county council gets its act together, they can be pressured to fix it. Is that fair, Richard? Thank you. Thank you very much for raising it. I mean, if anybody else has got something like that, tell us. I've got a number of dead lampposts in my ward that were hit by an HGV. Still have it, it's yellow tape around for about 5 years ago. Anyway. Richard.
I do appreciate that the reporting of that to ACC used to be really quite difficult. The website that they had was quite funky. It hasn't been refreshed in the last 6 months. So we haven't reported anything in the last 6 months. We'll see a new user interface, which is much more friendly on your smartphone or your computer. And it is effective. The system hasn't been improved for getting these things done when they are reported. Unfortunately, it is the work of the whole time. One person's to be able to report everything.
So if you see something, tell us. Or tell Tech County Council first. If it doesn't get anything, tell us. Thank you. Are there any more questions? Yes.
I just I live up in something, and I'm sure that this is where the number of additional new houses and spaces in the Sevenoaks town, and I'm just concerned there is about this and how our town is going to manage to maneuver traffic safety and so on. I'm speaking on behalf of those who live up West Avenue, because we've been made aware that the simple legislation is going to be to car park my boots, it is right in front of our properties. And I just wondered what your thoughts are on that. Given it's causing a lot of distress for those people that live on that street, who work hard and are really concerned about the.
So whereabouts are you? You're facing out towards the
Yes.
Yeah.
Facing directly opposite.
Yeah, so you look at sort of past by the library, effectively looking north.
Looking towards trees. So we've got.
Right.
Looking towards trees.
Yeah.
Given that we've got a perfectly usable, good legislature in a position now, I'm not clear on why it has to be moving right in front of.
Yes. I mean, you are aware that this is a district council project. Yes. I think probably the best person to respond is one of the local members for the town centre. David, are you willing to?
I'm a local member, yes.
Are you willing to take that on? We all have views on this, but I think the local members are probably very important.
You all have lots of views on it. And one of the most important points is something that all members to be pushing with district council is to make sure that two things happen. One is that there's very clear, effective consultation with those who are directed by us and we have been pushing very hard for their formal mechanisms put up. Now, before the design to finalise it. So the community is absolutely involved in that. They're not getting as far as we'd like to get that. That's one point which is very hard on. The other points that we've been pushing very hard on is the importance of good design. So it is an area that is going to be developed. And for that development to take place, it's got to be done in a way that is there's good architecture, there's good town planning, there's good thinking about the street furniture. There's a recognition of the character of the town, so it's not something which distorts what's going on. There's also the need to replace leisure centre. We all use leisure centre, we're aware of it, but it is now very inefficient. It is very costly to maintain. It was built with environmental standards from the 1980s, I think it was, which are no longer there. And if you compare that leisure centre with other leisure centres, that's the concern. So the development ought to be one of the flagship developments in the South East. So it's a really important part of the town. It should be something that is outstandingly good when it's finished. I very much think that will be the case. Whether or not. So I've always said trying to about this.
Thinking of it, I think why does it need to be demolished? I think the issue is essentially the swimming pool, which was built in the days when energy was on, and insulation standards were very poor. And I think the district council has established that it's unstable. But whether the rest of the sports hall is unstable, I don't know. That's another different question.
That's fair enough, and I understand that. But my question is more, why does it have to be moved? Because we have to build.
Well, right, but the reason for moving it is essentially the same reason that one in Swanley was when it was rebuilt. It was built on a slightly different site, an adjacent site. It's so that you can open the new one before you close the old one. So Sevenoaks retains the swimming pool all the way through and the sports hall. Otherwise, you end up 2 years without a sports centre. And you lose a lot of business if you do that.
I understand that, but what about the people that live right in front of the new sports centre? So,
Sorry?
what about the people that live right in front of the new sports centre?
Yeah.
They will be there possibly for the next 50 years. So
Yeah.
they'll be valuing their property in front of the sports centre. So it's concerning for us, it's distressing for us, and I just can't see why. We can't just build, just make existing estates, existing building.
But the existing building will need to go. Certainly the swimming pool will. I'm less convinced about the sports hall. Yeah. Well, the sports hall is actually only 22 years old. The big box is the sports hall, only 22 years old. It's the swimming pool which is built to environmental standards from 40 years plus. But that is the problem.
It's so important to be moving and built in front of
It just.
Yes.
There is a recognition across every single elected member that this, we do not have right amount of information to give you residents reassurance. We are pushing very hard in the district council to make that information available. So that the distress and speculation is then get a good view of how it is going to look and feel, the design will be so the impact. There will be something that is mitigated as far as possible. You are included in that consultation and the design, so that all of those, so your bosses to say that. Essentially, whilst we also understand that there has to be a new centre set continuity measure that everybody wants to say. So the two things are constructed friction that, but what we as elected members of the town are really pushing to get that information to us. And so, and to get your views into the process. At the moment, that has been very slightly. Please rest assured, we are all making best efforts. There are some district councils who have been privileged to somewhat provide information. So it can give you some reassurance that design and data design and business views are being taken into account. We want to bring that into the public so you can personally be reassured.
Thank you. But
I should just bring it back to the town council's perspective. As a town council, this is a project which we are watching as well, because it's district council and district council and leisure centre. You may have seen the master planning exercise we've been working on over the last year, 18 months, and we're more of that time looking at how we make best use of space across the whole town. For the town council looking at this project, what we can do is to influence, to lobby, to talk to our colleagues at district council and county council, and to try and influence it for the best possible outcome of the town. We are clear we want to be reassured that the facilities will remain available for all of the town throughout the process, because lots of the leisure centre would be a terrible thing to want to rebuild the activity and the fact that for young people, old people, all of the youth in the leisure centre would lose out if we're closed to the companies during the process, but we can't control it, unfortunately. And the concern that you raise about residents looking at that area, being in that science field, is absolutely one we will take forward as we make our comments on that process with regards to.
thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. Jenny.
District council is going to be existing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's going to be a far more huge authority.
Yeah.
Does that make it more difficult to get people with before this happens? Because these things take a very long time, we know that. And so you don't have to be sucking the head to get somebody's hand over and then it's completely moved or they don't want to find what's happening. I mean, is that a reason in Russian?
I think the straight answer to that is yes. I mean, we are not in control of the process. In fact, none of the councils for the town is in control of the process. Of the council is controlled by a minority administration, all of whose members come from outside the town. But the principle that they have tried to pursue is to generate enough money from the building of flats on the car parks in order to pay for the replacement leisure centre. That is their objective. And I'm not at liberty to tell you what I've seen on confidential bids that are coming in from various developers. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be extremely tough. It may well be so tough that it doesn't happen before the district council expires in 2028. I think that's quite possible. David has seen all of the process that I have.
Yeah, the concern of the district council is that if the contract is not signed before the district council disappears, or that's more precisely before the district council is no longer allowed to make contracts, which is slightly difficult to experience, then the responsibility will then pass to the unitary authority, and there's no guarantee the unitary authority will think we need to have a new legislature. It's possible that they will say, oh, there's one in Swansea, there's one in Eastbridge, there's one in Tunbridge, you don't need one in Sevenoaks, because they will be looking at the basin. So the argument for this council is to be with it now in order to guarantee that there is a new leisure centre lots to you yourself in place. That's the logic.
And what is the time? When does it need to be decided by?
Well, we don't yet know whether moratorium is going to come in to stop this council taking big decisions. But we believe that it will be sometime this autumn or towards the end of the year. So they're pushing to try and make a decision and sign the contract in autumn.
I thought it was to be April the 30th, the council made.
No.
No. I can tell that by Champions District Council themselves.
You may know what to say about this than I do.
We felt that it would be long town that April the 30th, when the new developer was.
You may well know who the selected developer is.
Yes.
There is no guarantee that a contract will be signed.
So that's.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly right.
Yeah. It's, yeah. So, yes. I mean, I think we all understand that this is a very big issue for the tenant sector. And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And it hasn't, I think, been helped by the pressure placed on district councils to deliver a lot of housing units in the new local plans forward, going down to pressure. Thank you very much. So, I mean, I'm happy to talk to you separately about this. I'm sure David is too. Okay, yes, Victoria says I'm not your local council and so too. Are there any other questions or comments anyone would like to make? No. Well, only remains to me to thank you all very much for coming and for making holding us to account, which is what you're here to do as citizens of Sevenoaks. And can I invite all those who have received the envelopes with checks in to come and have your photograph taken as a group, if you're willing to do so, before we all go home. Thank you very much indeed for coming. Everyone in the stall is all going to go home to meet the team. But we will be going home in at least 15 minutes or so. Thank you very much for coming.